Hey guys, what is going on? Today I'm going to be showing you how to connect your smartphone to your Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K so you can use it as a cheap and affordable monitor.
When the truth don't work, you start telling lies.
I just want to start by giving full credit to user Defcon, I think that's how you say it, from Reddit, and this is how I found out how to do this technique. Their post was kind of just showcasing how he connected his smartphone to his Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. So I thought I'd make a video explaining how to actually do this, but full credit goes to him. His link to the post will be down in the description. So unfortunately at the moment we cannot actually view a live feed wirelessly with the Pocket 4K to our smartphones. There is certain apps to actually control the camera over Bluetooth, but you can only control certain aspects of the camera. You can change exposure, settings, recording formats. You can change all the settings, but you just cannot actually view what you see, which is kind of annoying. I believe this is because it uses Bluetooth to connect the smartphone and Pocket 4K, so it might not be able to send that much data, but I'm not 100% sure. Because I know other phones such as the G7, GH5, they have a Panasonic app and you can actually view the live feed wirelessly, which is kind of cool. But with the Pocket 4K, we don't have this yet. So this may change in the future, but who knows. There is a small workaround we can do, and it is creating a wired connection between our Pocket 4K and our smartphones, which, I mean, it's not wireless, but if you have a long enough wired cable, then technically it's basically wireless. So you're going to need a few cables to actually get this working, and most notably, mainly you're going to need the Camlink, Elgato Camlink. This is a small HDMI to USB device which is mainly used for streamers for connecting DSLR cameras to use as a webcam. But we're going to use it in this case to actually convert our HDMI source to make it readable for our phone to actually use. You're also going to need some kind of USB hub or USB adapter. Basically one end has to have a female USB-A connector and the other end, in my case it's USB-C, but this can be micro USB, whatever connector goes into your actual phone. And finally you're going to need a HDMI cable. This is just a standard coiled HDMI to HDMI cable. All the links to these items are going to be in the description. So you're also going to need some kind of Android smartphone, which I have an old smartphone here. As far as I know, this is only actually doable on an Android device. I think this is because of the limitations of the iOS software. iOS is quite restrictive. There's not much you can actually connect into the devices that will actually be picked up, because obviously it's more like a closed system, whereas Android is more lenient with what they allow. So Android devices actually support OTG, which is on-the-go cables you can use, and yeah, this allows us to connect this device and actually have it working using some software on the phones. If there does become a change with iOS, then which allows this to happen, then I will make an update video. I'll let you know. I really hope it does, because I have an iPad which has a USB-C connector, and it'd be really handy to have a big display, but obviously at the moment we cannot do this. Also, you may have noticed that we're using a Camlink which costs about $120 on Amazon, or £120. So before you say, well,
Jaidan, the Camlink costs £120, I can pick up a monitor on Amazon for £120, why would I buy this if I can just buy a monitor for cheaper?
Well, this is actually quite a handy device to have, just for connecting multiple devices and, you know, decoding HDMI into USB. I'm pretty sure you can get cheaper devices, but this works, it's reliable, it's made by a good company, so it is actually good to have. You can connect, you know, your camera to your PC if you ever want to do live streaming, stuff like that. So I would say it's better to get this and then maybe a cheap phone, use that as a monitor, instead of just getting like a £120 monitor, which is honestly not going to be that good. Also, if you bought your Camlink when you wanted to become a famous streamer, and then you spent loads of money buying expensive gear, and then only ending up using that gear once, then yeah, this is a pretty good way to actually make use of this device. So also, one extra thing to note is this might only work on Android devices running Android 9.0 and higher. My phone that I'm using is 2 years old, so your phone may work, your phone may not work, but you might as well try it anyway. So I've made a quick diagram to actually explain how we're going to be connecting all these multiple cables together. So as you can see, we're going to be having the HDMI from our camera into the Camlink, and the Camlink goes into the female USB-A, and then we attach this end into our phone. So it's kind of like a weird thing, I guess. It kind of looks a bit odd, but yeah, this is how we're going to attach our camera. Now you have your actual hardware set up, we're going to need some kind of software on the phone which actually allows us to decode this information that we're getting from the Camlink HDMI device thing and actually convert it into usable data. So we're going to search the App Store for an app called OTG Viewer. You can search for OTG Camera, OTG Viewer, you'll get the same results, but you basically want to find an app which allows you to view on-the-go devices or on-the-go camera devices on your Android phone. The app I'm using is actually called OTG Viewer. I'll have a link in the description for it, and it's free. There are some paid apps. You might get some more features of paid apps, so you can try out which ones you like, but this one is free and I've had no latency issues with it, so it seems to be working fine. So once you've downloaded and installed this app and you've connected your device, one end into the camera, one end into your actual, Android device. Okay, so I was actually having some issues when connecting directly to my camera. It just wasn't working. It was showing up green lines and some weird stuff was happening. The crosshair was showing sometimes and it would be glitching and it just obviously wasn't working. But it did work when I connected it from my phone through the HDMI cable through the Camlink into my monitor, and then that monitor connects into my camera. So it was a bit weird. Hopefully this is just something to do with one of my cables or something, because other people have had this actually work, so hopefully it will work for you. But yeah, in the next shot you might see that it's connected through my monitor, which is just the workaround that I have to use, but it still works for me. But yeah, anyway, back onto the video. You may need to turn on USB debugging, and you may need to accept any notifications that come up saying, do you want to trust this device? But once you've done that, you should actually be able to see your camera view on your phone, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, we have our camera view on our phone, and that's basically it. It's quite an affordable and cheap solution if you already have a Camlink laying around and you already have an old smartphone, which the two things I did have. So for this, basically it cost me nothing. The way I'm going to be using it is, I currently have it connected into the out HDMI on my current monitor, so I can use my back monitor on my Pocket 4K, I can use my actual external monitor, and have this coming out with another monitor on my Android phone. It's going to be quite handy. Say if I have a director or DP on site and they want to get a view, I just pass this to them, get a long HDMI cable obviously so they can move around a bit, but pass this to them, they can view that, I can view the monitor, and it's all good to go. Also, now the prices of Android tablets have actually gone down massively. You can pick up a cheap tablet and use this as quite a large display and, have it as a monitor for your Pocket 4K. Also, I want to note that this is actually going to work for any camera which has a HDMI output, because all it's doing is converting HDMI through the Camlink into USB. So any camera that has a HDMI output should theoretically work with this system. But obviously with the cameras that have their dedicated apps which you can use, you might as well just use their feature, because you can probably wirelessly view the live image then. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and comment any suggestions you have for future videos. I'm always willing to review stuff, try and figure out new ways to make stuff work and whatever. So feel free to subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.
I got scary thoughts, lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah.